Hey everybody, this is a sort of quick video kind of running down the past year and the unprecedented growth in the channel, as well as sort of going over and highlighting the next steps for this channel moving forwards into 2023. Overall, I just kind of want to be honest about my opinions on the channel and like how it grew and sort of what my goals are. I want to give a special thanks and shout out to everybody who subscribed, all 1,000 subscribers, everybody who's been active on the Discord server, all the people who have joined our moderator team, all the admins for sort of picking up while I've been gone, and obviously some of the few people I've met on YouTube as well. So very quickly, I just want to go over the channel's history. I originally started in summer 2021, but with a Sum 1 submission, so that was that 3 Blue 1 Brown competition. It was originally designed to be sort of an educational channel. My first video, I think it was my first video, was a video about making redstone and using redstone and logic gates and stuff like that in Minecraft, and that one didn't take off very well, didn't do that great. But I also made a few other videos. I made a few meme videos because, the channel was small. I could just essentially do whatever I wanted. And what ended up happening was one of those meme videos ended up becoming quite popular, actually. It was the program fans explaining. It got like maybe 50 views in the first day or first few days, which for me it was like, wow, that's crazy. And then it didn't grow too much after that. And then all of a sudden the viewership, I think sometime around June, it hit like 1,000 views. Like it started June, and then it just kept growing from there, and I basically just jumped on that wave and I started posting more memes. Before that point, some of you may have noticed that I posted like a whole thing on physics and some stuff on differential equation. Like I just posted a whole series, just me on MS Paint talking about like some topics, trying to do some tutorial stuff. I didn't really quite know what I wanted to do with the channel. Then I made some video on like games, and I did something on like, do we need calculus, that sort of thing, and that video didn't take off very well, but the memes started to take off. So I decided, well, I'm going to just do more of those and grow the channel, see what I can learn. And I learned quite a bit about sort of growing and understanding how to grow on YouTube, and I started to try to follow my audience, post things, identify what they wanted, post things that they like. And then it got to a point where I sort of hit my goal. Like my goal, I think, for this year was, for 2022, is I wanted to hit like 10,000 subs, and I surpassed that goal. Then after that, like, I didn't really know what to do. Mainly because it's like that, I didn't have much of a plan to hit to that. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna upload, figure things out, and then learn as I go. And then once I find something that works, I'm going to essentially double down and just try to look at different things that I've learned about how to grow channels from different creators and things like that, and just try that out. And it worked. I got to 10K, but I quickly hit the point where I realized that, oh, this is gonna take more time out of my life than I would have thought, like, to keep the channel growing. So I kind of just gave up of uploading things, and I stopped uploading partly because of that. That would have been the start of the school year, so around September. I just didn't really upload anymore after that. I know I had like a series planned. I also started to go into sort of end of August. I was starting to realize that I built an audience that expects memes and things like that, and while they're funny, my audience was mainly sort of software engineering, meme type stuff, and for me that is not my interest, like, at all. I ended up cultivating an audience which I had no interest in, which is, while it's cool, it's also kind of does hurt in a way. It makes it difficult to see what to do next, because for the channel, while it was funny at first, I realized that I didn't actually want to, like, for 2 months, it's fine to make the memes and stuff and follow the growth for 2 months, it was fun, but to do that long term, I could not see myself doing that. I could not see myself making memes this consistently and having the quality constantly be increasing, and enjoying it. Like, I could, the issue wasn't that I couldn't see myself actually doing it, the issue was I didn't see myself enjoying it. So I took time off, and I just let the channel sit, and I managed to get like another 1,000 to some amount of subs. I think around 1,000 subs afterwards, and for me that was super cool. Thank you all who subbed within that time, which I think is kind of crazy. I didn't expect 1,000 subs even though I didn't have any uploads. But if you notice that some of my newer videos were doing so well as well, I start to recognize the memes are also not panning out as much. Like the viewership numbers on things like the slander videos, they were doing very well. Because like, honestly, even though they're funny, it gets to a point where like no one actually wants to see like a fourth slander or like a 4chan slander. Like, you know, a Cobalt slander would be kind of funny, but there's not really much to say. Really, people want to see like the top 6 languages slandered, right? So I already did Java, I did C, I did C++, I did JavaScript, I did Python, I did Rust. You know, maybe you could do a Ghost slander here and there. It was like really the main sort of interest in that sort of content was already covered, and so I would just end up making a slander for less popular languages, and it wouldn't really be, it wouldn't grow as much. In fact, it was actually, the viewership was decreasing, and the programming fans explaining, well, it was funny, the viewership is also decreasing because there's also only so much you can say. You don't want to make the same joke twice. And I felt like I came out swinging and basically gassed myself out to like, I didn't really know. Early on it was easy to make jokes, but then later on it was hard to make jokes that I hadn't made before, and juggling that with also school was also has extra challenges as well. So for me, that was definitely an issue. I realized that I didn't quite want to be doing that, especially for a while. I didn't want to grow a channel to do that, but I did manage to get monetized off of it. I did manage to get monetized after that, and it was difficult to kind of think about how to proceed, because I think, as I mentioned before, like this channel was initially meant to be some sort of educational channel. The idea was kind of to be like game theory, but I did a very bad job at that, and I ended up cultivating the wrong audience. So moving forwards, I'm not quite sure where to go. So this brings us to like the current state of the channel. As some of you noticed, the video quality has been stagnating, viewership is generally down, and the content is essentially everywhere. Like I tried posting more educational content, and some of that did okay. The Mono video was fine, but then video content after that was like decreasing, and part of that has to do with the way the algorithm, the way it works. I was essentially starting to confuse the algorithm, because what it had done, and this is I guess a tip to grow on YouTube, is like you want to make sure that the algorithm can identify an audience. And the algorithm identified an audience for my channel. That's why I grew. That's why I was able to have consistent growth over that period of time, because YouTube found an audience for me and just started giving me that audience. But it was the wrong audience for what I wanted to do. So when I actually tried to do what I actually wanted to make videos on, that confused YouTube, because now it recognized that I was making videos that didn't apply to the audience that it found for me. So it didn't know who to send these videos out to. So that ended up hurting the channel. And that ended up hurting viewership numbers as well. So it does, in the sense, feel like being back to square one, because as I mentioned, like I don't actually want to be making memes for too long. Moving into the new year, that's definitely not one of my goals. I don't actually want to have like a meme channel, because that's not what I wanted to do. Yeah, as I mentioned, it feels like being back to square one, like almost like if I have a brand new channel, but like it's not that bad, because I do have an audience. Additionally, editing also takes a lot of time. Like, I'm not a bad editor, but I just put way too much time. Like, my editing experience is mainly in doing like montages and things like that, and I really enjoyed making those sorts of things. And when it came to editing actual videos, I tried editing them like if they were like a CSGO fragment or something. Like, editing it like it was a montage, and that is not the right way to edit. I learned that there's a different style for editing sort of educational content, and I was getting very anxious when in my videos there was like a pause where there was no movement on screen. I would get nervous, and I would try to put something in there, and so I would spend like a lot of time working on like every 5 seconds of the video. But then what would happen is, in the actual video, you ended up getting like things just move so fast and so quickly that it was difficult to keep up with what was going on. So that wasn't good. I was ended up wasting a lot of time, and what ended up happening was like the memes were like, I can essentially min-max YouTube by just making memes because they were so low effort compared to this educational content, which I actually do want to do. But I could not actually find the energy to do that long term. I wanted to make educational content, but then also that content took forever to make, and I just didn't have the time to commit to it. But then again, as I mentioned, like the reason why it took so much time is because I approached it in the wrong way. So that's essentially also part of what I was doing with those short videos that I started uploading. Was like I kind of wanted to test something, see how quickly I can make a video, and I realized that I could actually make like an educational video very quickly if I removed some of those anxieties in the sense of and I set more realistic expectations. And I think my thoughts going in is as I mentioned, I don't really want to be doing memes, and so I kind of want to think about moving the channel in a new direction. And part of that has to do with I thought of different solutions for that. One of those was essentially creating like a secondary channel and then keeping all the memes, but that has issues because I wouldn't call the second channel, it wouldn't be called the STEM Gamer, which was originally the STEM Gamer that name was chosen because it related directly to the content I wanted to produce. When I think ahead about like what this second channel would do, it would essentially be, I couldn't call it the STEM Gamer, but it would be the STEM Gamer. And then the STEM Gamer would just be a meme channel. And then that channel will die because I just will stop uploading to it because I don't want to do it. And then the second channel would become my main channel anyways. So I feel like it would be just an awkward way to do it. It would actually make more sense, I think, long term to just change the focus of this channel entirely. And part of that's because like in terms of longevity, like long term, even though I'm at 11,000 subscribers, I want to hit 50,000, and to do that I need to essentially cultivate a new audience, more or less. Like I need to find a new audience and then grow that audience to hit 50,000. 50,000 is much larger than 10,000, and if I keep growing and I have ambitions to grow this channel to be much larger, 10,000 subs is like nothing, I think, long term. So I do feel like if I start now, it's better than if I just kept the memes going and then tried to transition later at 50,000 or 100,000 subs. That would be bad. That would be harder to do. So I think this is there's no better time to do it than right now. Yeah, and as I mentioned, I sucked at it initially, and I've learned a lot of things. I've essentially been spending this time focused on my school studies and stuff like that. But I'll be taking the things that I've learned, essentially meditating on those things to come up with a business plan. Yeah, it does feel like I'm going back to square one, but because I really am not satisfied with the quality of my educational content. It really didn't feel like authentic. Like for this one, I actually didn't write a script. Like I wrote a script for all those other videos, and I just read from the script, and it ended up coming off as like just not very organic and energetic. And I mean, none of my viewers actually know me IRL, but if you knew me in person, you would know that I'm actually a very energetic person, and like the way I talk is like when I get serious, I can talk in a very sophisticated manner, but in general, when I'm talking, I'm not talking in a way that's like, I get very excited about the things I talk, especially when I'm talking about educational content. I get like very excited, and that energy helps keep people in there. And I've had people tell me that like I'm very good at explaining things, but in my videos I wasn't able to capture that same energy. And I think part of that was because like just I wasn't very good at putting myself on the screen like that, and I wasn't very good at capturing myself when I wrote things down, because when I write things down, I write in a very serious manner, but when I actually am just talking, I'm very energetic and excited about the topic, and I think that energy carries over. It's easier for me to sort of bring more emotion when I'm just sort of being myself, instead of trying to write a script that I just follow through. And I think that's part of why I wasn't satisfied, so I'm going to probably, and also the script took some time, so that might also help just sort of speed up like the rate at which I can upload content. So yeah, going forwards, as I mentioned, like we're going to be going through a bit of a rewrite, and thinking of making videos essentially shorter, like 5 to 10 minutes. I know this one's like, yeah, this video is getting kind of long. It's like almost 20 minutes, and it's just been me just chatting. But I'll probably focus mainly on 5-10 minute videos. Nothing longer than 15, but overall nothing shorter, I think, than 5 minutes. And it'll just be essentially videos of me talking, and I think the editing quality will decrease, because, or at least the time I spend editing, it'll still be edited, but I'll spend less time editing it because I wasn't finding the right balance. I will also be making actually a second channel. I think I want to focus this one on more casual conversations. So if you think of like, originally I was planning on making this like 3 Blue 1 Brown. I wanted to be kind of like a game theory / 3 Blue 1 Brown. But that content takes a lot of time to produce, and I don't have the time to actually produce that content. So I'm just gonna start producing maybe shorter form content that's probably closer to the type of stuff that you see from channels like Fireship, other sort of creators like that, where there's more upload frequency, but the content and the quality is still there. Essentially, that's more or less what I would be focusing on. I'll probably also start privatizing some channels. I'll also be focusing on Patreon and channel memberships, which actually, this actually reminds me about another thing that I didn't even talk about, which was channel is getting like, it's not getting demonetized, but the channel essentially relies on a lot of copyrighted content. Like some of the most viewed videos on my channel, like for example, I think it's the most viewed, and that's that programming interviews be like that video. That video is ineligible for monetization. It's my most viewed video, but I can't monetize it because it's claimed, and that's an issue with the memes. The memes that were the most popular used copyrighted material, which well, it's okay, good to grow because I can get people interested. Like it's a huge video, but I couldn't monetize it, and I can't make more videos like it because they'll also won't be monetized because it uses copyrighted content. Because a lot of memes do that, right? Trying to skirt through all those bans or not bans, but like just skirt through all the content ID and things like that, I feel would degrade the quality and would be besides the point of the channel anyway. So I don't plan on continuing that anyways. So that's part of the longevity thing. I don't see how I could continue making content like that. I also don't have the time to make, or like I don't actually have the time to make original content, like where everything is by myself. And I do feel bad making money off of other people's content too. Like I do kind of feel bad about it, especially when like some of my popular videos use music that's not mine and things like that. So I also just kind of want to avoid that. Yeah, and so as I mentioned, like I'll be thinking about doing like a Patreon and a membership, channel memberships and things like that, as I guess the channel becomes more serious. And we'll see how things go. Overall, I have some plans for both this channel and the second channel that I'll be starting. That one essentially is going to be more serious, more serious content, a bit more personal, like my own opinions on certain things, mainly related to like science and math, mostly math, because I'm actually, believe it or not, like not a computer science person. Like I'm interested in theoretical computer science and mathematics. I'm not actually interested in software engineering, which is also like why I don't want to be making memes about software engineering, because I hate software engineering. Sorry. Yeah, so moving forwards from that, like I'll probably be doing that. And as far as my New Year's resolution goes, it's essentially I want to grow the second channel, and I'm hoping to collaborate with larger creators, maybe get some sponsorships, and have a consistent monthly or bi-weekly upload schedule. And then additionally, I'll have like a Q&A at 50,000 subscribers, probably when that happens in like 2 years or 4 years, or however long. It'll probably take longer to hit 50,000, I think, because that'd be essentially starting things up from scratch, but it'll be fun, I think. So yeah, that's kind of a long video. It's like 23 minutes. Hope you enjoy some of the gameplay in the background, at least, like maybe blurring some of it out. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I'll have a few videos prepared soon, and I'll hopefully be able to stay consistent with that. So bye bye.